Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching this from. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come see this. I try to make this short. I don't try to go a long, drawn-out thing, but this skill, which is number 2, inviting prospects to understand your product or opportunity, is probably one of the very best skills you can develop. And then once you identified your prospects, the next skill is learning how to properly invite them to find out more about your product or opportunity. This is by far the most critical step to develop. I call it the gateway skill for network marketing. If you ain't successful in getting anybody to take a look, then we can guess what your future will look like in MLM, can't we? Most people think you must start off with great reputation and have a lot of influence with others for them to take a look at your opportunity. But you know what? That's not so. That's not true. So just get that out of your head. That's not true. When I first started in 1992, I had no reputation, okay? I had no influence, and I barely escaped high school. I attended one seminar of a community college before dropping out. And I had a total of 18 jobs before the age of 23. Do you think I had a lot of respect in the community? I had zero. And since I was a $5 to $10 an hour person, all my friends were the same. So there wasn't much help. Most of them were still living with their parents. But I was desperate. I was scrappy. In the beginning, I made up numbers. What I made up in numbers, what I lacked in skill. I called everyone I knew, gave them my pitch. A few of them joined, but most didn't. I placed ads in newspapers. I gave all of the people who responded to my pitch from all of that activity, and a few joined, but most didn't. I tried everything. I was like a hunter with a goal of bagging an elephant. I went around with a gun or my opportunity in hand, and I shot everything that moved. I didn't really care about relationships. All I cared about was getting that new recruit. My attitude was, some will, some won't, so what next? And you have to have, I think you have to have a little bit of that in you, because there are people going to quit. And if people quit, they just get in, and they don't actually help them. They don't understand. They leave, and you're left all by yourself. And you're like, they left because they went on to a new opportunity, because all they saw was getting people in. That's it. They didn't see, throw the people against the wall and see if they'll stick. That was the attitude, right? But because I was a hunter, everyone around me felt hunted. They started to avoid me, right? And it wasn't fun at all. Even worse, the people I did get in to join my business, what do you think they did? They tried to do the same thing I was doing, and guess what? They failed, and what did they do? They quit. Do you see a lot of people quitting? I'm leaving. I ain't gonna do this. I can't see how this is gonna work. If I don't get somebody in really, if this doesn't work, if you don't do this, if I don't get anybody under me, then how is this gonna work? I don't get it. Yeah, because you're a poser. You're a poser. I'm sorry. And you got to move from poser to amateur to becoming a professional. That's what you got to do. After 3 or 4 years of frustration, I came to my defining moment and started studying successful people in MLM to see what they did. what I found surprised me. They weren't hunters. They were more like farmers. They built relationships. They built friendships. They learned how to build trust with the people they met and were able to skillfully transfer the belief they had about their products and opportunity. If you have doubt and you have unbelief, that is going to transfer the person you're talking to. I promise you, if you don't have excitement and you aren't gung-ho about this opportunity of grace and what grace can do for you and how the Shining Stars is able to help support you, you ain't going nowhere. And yeah, you will leave. And yeah, you will quit. Because you know why? You don't have a big enough why. You've told everybody whatever you told them, and they didn't understand. So they didn't go out and do what they did. They just sat on their butts and did nothing and expected the whole community to work for them. That's what the mentality of this world is. I work all my days to do everything I need to make the money I do, and you just expect me to give half the money to you. That's called socialism. And it doesn't work. Okay. Their goal wasn't to these professionals their goal isn't to immediately recruit their prospects. Their initial objective was to educate their prospects on what they had to offer them, and then let those prospects decide if it was something they wanted to do. This was a huge shift in strategy for me, and I began to look at things differently. I put myself in the prospect's shoes and thought about what would be the alternative to me, and alternatively, what would cause me to put my defenses up. I realized why the pros had such great results. Instead of acting like sharks, they were more like coaches and consultants. They built relationships and then offered common sense solutions to people's problems. Who wouldn't like that? The other thing I noticed with professionals is they didn't pitch their product or opportunity. Instead, when timing was appropriate, they just invited people to do one of two things based upon the individual prospect's situation. The first thing they did was invite people to some sort of like Zoom call, meeting, or event, such as a one-on-one or two-on-one meeting with other members of their team. Three-way phone conversations, a call, a small group presentation in their home, an online webinar, a local hotel meeting, or some large company event or convention. Professionals understand what personal interaction is a critical component when it comes to building trust and transferring belief. They try to connect with people as much as possible. The second thing they did was to invite people to review some tool. You know, he's a big believer in using tools to help educate prospects. Tools take many forms. There are CDs, DVDs, magazines, brochures, websites, and other online presentations. With some companies, you can even let people sample products and treat that as a tool. There's no question that technology continues to evolve. offering more and more convenient ways to help educate prospects, but have to interact a personal but I have to interact a personal opinion based on experience. While technology allows us to get people qualified information quickly, there is nothing like a physical tool. In a world of bits and bytes in network marketing, world where it's important to build trust, a physical tool makes it real. Okay? Of the two methods used to help educate prospects, Zoom events are the most effective in today's world we live in. There's a lot of reasons. There's a physical interaction from meeting people and helps build trust. There is an important element of social proof. It's valuable for prospects to see there are other people actively involved and find out what those people are like. There is education on the product and the financial opportunity, and they get to see firsthand the kind of support that is involved. And they won't have to do everything by themselves. In most cases, their excitement and urgency at these events, and they get to hear stories how things are going for other people. Those are some of the benefits. The only downside to events is they can be difficult to schedule and confirm, especially for a brand new person. If you don't have the skills, it's fairly common to invite 20 people. Have you done that? You invited 20, and how many show up? About 1 or 2, because that's the rule. 80-20. 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people. Just imagine if 100% of the people did this, how much we would grow. You know, if you don't have the skills, it's fairly common to invite 20 people and only a couple people show up. And that can be very, very discouraging, right? For building a large and duplicate organization, I have found that a tool is better than first step. Remember, our goal is to educate and understanding. We want people to know what we have and understand how we can benefit their lives. A tool is a great way for people to become educated and hopefully excited. In the middle of their busy lives, they might not have time to drive across town to meet with you, but they could come to a Zoom meeting, watch an online presentation. If you were to look back at my career, you would see that tools changed everything for me. In 1990, my company came out with a video, and it was dynamic and exciting, even though it was widely expensive. At $15 each back then, it was worth it, because when you learned how to invite to watch that video, the results were dramatic. Everyone in the company became focused on daily method of operation that centered around inviting people to watch our video. We allowed no distractions. Our entire culture evolved around this strategy, and our growth went through the roof. Events were still very important, but they were second step after a person watched our video. By adapting this new approach, my organization finally broke out, and I was able to enjoy the experience of having a group that grew without me. It was more fun than I can describe. My group grew from a few dozen to a few hundred, and then to a few thousand. All I did was learn how to successfully invite people to watch a video and follow up with an invitation to an event, and teach everyone else to do the same thing. The second career breakthrough took the form of an audio cassette. Yet, yes, I said audio cassette. This was 1992, and that's all we had. The company was launching something new and exciting, and this time I personally recorded an audio and explained the opportunity in detail. We sold them for about 50 cents a piece, which covered our cost. In less than 1 year, that little audio cassette sold over 1 million copies. We taught people how to invite prospects to take that cassette, put it in their car, and listen to it right away. The results were amazing. We trained people to get 100 cassettes. At first, get them to everyone they knew, and then had them focus on getting out 2 a day. After that, using that simple system, my income grew to almost 1 million a year. Different companies use different tools and event strategies to grow their business. Some use home parties, some use online presentations, some use one-on-one with magazines or in flip charts. Find what works best for you and your particular company, develop your daily method of operation, and then train your people how to effectively do the same and invite their prospects to plug in. As a professional, you are going to be inviting your prospects to review a tool or attend a meeting. Here's what you're not going to be doing. You're not going to be pitching people and trying to dazzle the world with your wisdom. That approach will feed your ego, but will steal from your bank account. Let me give you my formula for financial independence in network marketing. Your ability to get a large group of people to constantly do a few things over an extended period of time. It was this formula that helped me break out of network marketing mediocrity. And it will help you do the same. For years, I focused on dependent on my ability to persuade people to join me. Then I graduated to find a few key leaders I could train to do what I was doing. And finally, I learned the formula I just gave you and began to focus on getting a large group of people to consistently do just a few simple things, to keep doing them. When that happened, everything changed for the better. Those are the fundamentals. Let's take a moment and talk about the emotions of inviting. There are 4 basic rules, and we'll go in that to another video when we get into the 4 basic rules. And if you want to keep continuing learning, please follow, like, and share for more. And over and out.